Welcome, distinguished viewers, to another episode of What Brooke Saw, where I share wellness resources so that you and the people that you care about can thrive mentally, socially, and financially. Today is another installment of the Therapy Diaries series where I share candidly my confessionals after a long, productive therapy session, talk therapy, with my therapist, LaTasha. Backstory. So my significant other is going away for 2 weeks he's military training. And when he informed me of this change, I had a reaction that was not so good. I teared up and was just kind of like overwhelmed with emotion. And I was like, that's unusual because I have separated from him before and overnight, whatever. And it has been fine. Like, we have been good. He's not someone who is unreliable or inconsistent, or like, he shows up and he is legit someone who I, know to be, he's not going to ghost me, is the point I'm making here. And so I was wondering where this strong emotion was coming from. So I brought it up in therapy, and my therapist was like, well, let's go backwards to what's a memory that you can remember from the first time that you were abandoned, or the first time, not abandoned, but the first time that you separated from someone and that it felt bad. And I was like, oh, I guess the first experience was when my stepdad separated from my mom when they got divorced. And I was like, I haven't thought about that in years, like years. It's been since I've even thought about what it was like as a young girl, maybe 5 years old, experiencing that loss for the first time. And I gotta say, processing it in therapy was not easy, because the emotions, as soon as I started talking about that memory, the emotions felt so raw and so fresh. And because it was as if I had put it all in like a jar and then just like clamped the lid on and was like, just repressing it for years and years and years. And so this was the first time that I was like, you know what, that did not sit well with me. And I did not feel as though the adults in my life properly explained what was going on. And so I just kind of came to my own conclusions. And so first my therapist had me journal about it, and journal about the memory, and just kind of talk about like, how did it make you feel? What happened? Did you experience feelings that like you were to blame, and so on and so forth. And then she, this was in one session, and then the next session, she had me talk to her about what I wrote, and that brought up, I got choked up just even reading it back to her, because again, the feelings were just so like raw and so fresh. And so then she was like, and do you see how kind of there's a connection here between you feeling the feelings of rejection and from the separation, and the feelings of just, you're to blame, or just, I don't know exactly how to describe it. All I know is that she was tying then to now. She was saying there might be a connection here between this suppressed memory of you and your dad, your stepdad, and you and now your boyfriend. And I was like, okay, you're onto something there. Okay. And then we did an exercise where I kind of talked to my inner child, which sounds so cliche, because in pop culture we talk about like, inner child work and, talk to yourself like a child and things like that. But it is truly, this was my first experience with it, and it was truly helpful to go back and say, okay, if you could tell 5-year-old Brooke, something, what would it be about, your parents' separation and stuff like that? And I was just like, through tears, saying, talking to myself and very gently like a child, and just saying it wasn't your fault, and you're going to be okay, and it is not just your loss, but it is his loss, and changing the narrative in that way was beautiful. And I was once I could just like come back from that moment and it not feel quite as what's the word I'm looking for? Strong, once I could go to the memory, process it with someone who's safe and gets it and knows what they're doing, and then come back with it not being such a strong like reaction to it, I was able to not have as much a strong reaction to the news that my boyfriend was going to be gone for a few weeks. So yeah, that was what we talked about in therapy. And I'm excited to see what we do with other, repressed memories, knowing that, I got through this session okay, yeah, there was some tears and everything, but ultimately, we're getting somewhere. We're making progress. So that is it for this episode, and I want to hear from you if you've processed a difficult memory either through journaling or inner child work or just talking about it in a trusted, safe space. I want to hear about it from you in the comment section, because I really think that it's helpful when you can see other people be vulnerable and share their story and share that they're processing and working, doing the hard work of healing, and that we're all doing it together. So I would love to see, and if you have a comment about, maybe a video that you'd like to see me share on this channel, I would love to hear about that as well. And so go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Therapy Diary videos in the future, because I am not going to stop going and I am not going to stop progressing. And so I'm going to make sure that I share that with you all. Alrighty. So until next time, bye.